Hello and welcome back to G.A.R. Productions, and welcome back to Ask G.A.R. Sorry if I sound a little weird or I'm not maybe as energetic today. I have been sick for the past 4 days, and I don't know how long I'm still going to be sick, so I'm a little out of it. So I apologize if I'm less energetic than normal, but I still want to get your questions answered if you can't tell this week. So Brandon asks, thoughts on Tales of the Empire. I think it looks awesome. Too bad there probably won't be any sets for it with some Inquisitors. I agree on every point. I am super excited for Tales of the Empire. I'm very excited to see Thrawn and Elsbeth's character arc from the attack on Dathomir by the CIS. Very, very fascinating. And we get to see General Grievous, which is nice. Just kind of a fun little icing on the cake, as it were. I don't think it'll be like a huge storyline to have Grievous in there. Like, it might just even be a short flashback. It'll probably be that her first episode will be Dathomir. Nonetheless, very excited about that. Very excited to see Barris's story finish in some form or fashion, I'm sure, since we haven't seen her in Rebels or Kenobi. I'm assuming this may be the end of her story or prepare the end of her story, but very excited about that. But yes, kind of sad because there's a lot of set options. I just saw like we could have even Clone Wars era stuff. There's a HMP on Dathomir that we didn't see in the Clone Wars that's going to be in this episode. There's that and a host of other, minifigures. The one, I can't remember what's her name, the one sister from Kenobi is going to be in it, kind of recruits Barriss, different kinds of clones. Yes, Imperial clones, but yeah, probably not getting anything because we didn't get anything for Tales of the Jedi, so probably not going to get anything. Billy Wade asks, what is your favorite Grandpa Clone Customs clone? Probably because it's one of my favorite legions and color schemes. It's going to be the 442nd Siege Battalion. I haven't got any of his yet, but that's probably my favorite, or the Canon 187th. I really like those two. I'm hopefully going to pick up some at some point this year and do a review on them. It'd be nice if I get sponsored by someone who sells them. Just putting that out there. If you see this video, that'd be sweet, but that's beside the point. Moving on swiftly, Old Man the Bricks asks, if a Star Wars What If series saw the light of day, what stories would you like to see besides the obvious ones from the comic series? I think two big ones. I think this has come up before. I can't remember what I said, but two big ones I think would be kind of interesting to see would be a Ahsoka joining Maul and being able to, or maybe three of them. Ahsoka joining Maul and or Ahsoka joining Anakin in the dark side. I think that would be interesting. I think Padme choosing to go with Anakin, and they do overthrow the Emperor, would be a fascinating, and then raising Luke and Leia in the dark side, and someone else has to be risen up. I don't know who. I think that could be a very interesting what if series, and then just maybe like a little what if with Obi-Wan and Satine. I think that'd just be a little sweet thing because, there's such tragedy with them. And I think it'd be cool to see. Haggai3138 asks, if you were to build a mock, what would it be and why? Personally, he'd like to, or would love to build, a giant Hoth or Endor scene. So for me personally, which a little bit of future spoilers, but it's probably going to be 5 years away at least, is going to be, I really want to do Felucia. I really like the planet. There's many scenes and things to recreate from Felucia, and not a lot of people have done, people have done big Kashyyyk ones. They've done big Hoth. There's been Scarif, Mandalore. There's been a lot of ones, but I've never really seen a substantially large Felucia mock. And I don't really want to give the details of what my plan is, but let's just say I'm trying to throw in as much of everything from Felucia in media in there, in little parts that as I possibly can. I don't know exactly how baseplate by baseplate, but that is what I want to do, and that is what I'm planning on doing. But again, probably be 4 or 5 years at this point before I can have the base to have the finances and time to be able to do that. Yoda the Giant asks, if you had to pick between a playscale version of an Imperial Star Destroyer or a playscale Rebel cruiser of some kind, what would you pick? And also, Yoda, sorry, I know you text or messaged me on Instagram. I'll try and get back to you again. I've been sick and busy, so I apologize about that. I'll try and get back to you. But just in case I release this and still haven't got to you, I'm sorry. Anywho, your question. For me personally, because I already have the 2014 Imperial Star Destroyer, it's going to be like a Mon Cala cruiser. I really like their designs. I really would like to have one for a Rebel fleet, so it's going to be a Rebel cruiser. And I believe that's actually, well, that's all the questions here. I know someone posted a question not on this Ask G.A.R., and I can't find it, but I'll answer the question because I kind of remember. I don't know who it was, but they asked how I still play with Legos after this much time as an adult. And I don't know if there's a deep answer to that. Like, just my basic thing is as a kid, I always liked having armies, or I liked doing battles, I should say. I didn't have large armies, I only had like 20 clones, or if that even. I mean, I still only had like 10 or 11 clones up till I was like 11 or 12. Only in my teenage years did my clone army go from the 10s to right about 100. It's more than that now. Again, soon, hopefully you'll see my clone army. But it wasn't until my later mid-teenage years did my clone army even get close to a 100 clones. I'll put up a picture of the old army. It's not anywhere accurate, but it's a representation, of the legions that I have. So I always wanted to, even as a teenager, I would do battles, and I would play with them of they're fighting each other. I would play out a battle. Obviously you just choose the victor beforehand. And yeah, they would like the droids would attack a city or through a forest, or the clones would attack, and the other side would have to defend, and there'd be air support or vehicles, and they'd get destroyed. So, and I enjoyed that as a kid. I enjoyed that as a teenager, and I still enjoy doing it now. I don't really have the space right now to do it the way I want to, but someday I will, and I'm still planning on doing battles. That's one of the biggest things I look forward to as time progresses, and if the Lord blesses, is being able to do that again once in a while, not like every day, but as part of the hobby, being able to play with my Legos on a consistent basis again. So I don't know if I hope you watch this Ask G.A.R. I don't know if that answers your question. There's not much more I can give besides that's just how it's always been for me. I wish I could give more tips. Maybe just try and think back what was the reason you played with Legos as a kid? Like, how did you play with them? Did you build them and then rebuild them into something else? Did you have little battles? And then maybe just try and see if you find enjoyment in doing that again. Is my honestly my best recommendation. I don't know if that answers your question, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the questions, some really good ones. Again, sorry for being a little bit under the weather and blobbly at the beginning. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Post your questions for next week's Q&A, as long as I get better and don't get worse. Next week's Q&A down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time.